Now, for the mountain, we need trees. And so I got this box of SuperTrees the other day. And so what you can see some hanging behind me on clothesline. What we're gonna do today is try to straighten some of these out. So when you open this box up, you get, try not to knock anything down, like this bushel of this plant, I believe from like Scandinavia or something. When you pull it apart, you know, this is, you get these little tree-like structures. And so you can come around and kind of pull these little ones off. I put them back in the box because you can use them kind of in and around your ballast for like bushes. But if you look, they're not always straight. So what I have here is some, it's just some matte medium and water, like a 5-to-1 mixture or so. I'm just mixing it with a dowel because it's been sitting for a couple days. What I'm gonna do is actually just dip this entire thing into this into this glue water mixture and just let it soak for a couple of minutes. And that is gonna allow the fibers of the plant to reabsorb some water, and it's gonna allow it to be a little bit more malleable, to straighten back out rather. So that way you don't have like a crooked tree everywhere. So here's, again, just kind of pull these apart. So like that guy, if I was modeling a tornado, an active tornado, this would be ideal, but not right now. And if I go to straighten this out, it's gonna break. So, you know, I'm gonna pull some of these non-leafy like pieces off, and then just let it sit in the water for a few minutes, in this water glue mixture for a few minutes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang it up on a clothesline. Like I have some of these ones behind me that already have some foliage on them. I'm going to string up a wire, clothespin it to that, and then put a clothespin on the other side to stretch it out. And it kind of acts like a weight to straighten it out. So for the wiring that I use, it's the same wire that I use for the other trees that I make. I have a tutorial on making these, which is just wiring. So I'm going to use that, and you string them up. You might not be able to see behind me here, but what I've got is I strung a wire that goes all the way across to this one wall. So what I'm going to do is just take this tree, I'm going to pin it on there, and then I'm going to take another clothespin. We're just going to try and straighten this out. There's another way that you can do this, just right onto the end of that. You can kind of flex them a little bit too, straighten them out. So the other way that you can do this is if you have a teapot, or technically I guess you just use a pot of water, boil it to get the steam, and use some tweezers and hold the tree over the steam for a little while, just a couple seconds, and you can start to bend them back a little bit. I tried that on some of the other trees, it worked really well, but it's hot, and you know, you can only do one at a time. This, I can just dump a bunch of these in here and then hold them up or string them up, and a couple hours later they should be straight. So I'm gonna go ahead and string a bunch of these up, and then what we'll do after that is hit them with some brown camo paint. I just grabbed this stuff from big box hardware store. It's like a matte finish. So this is the brown. We're gonna hit them with that. I'll show you how I kind of use a box to do that work. And then we're going to add some flock to the trees and let them dry and hang them again. So let's hang some more here. All right, so I've got the trees that we had hung up overnight. They're here in the box now. I've got some of them set up here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna hit them with some spray paint first. We're gonna do it black, actually. I was gonna do it brown, but I'm gonna do it black to create like a shadow effect inside the trees. So we're just gonna give a nice base coat of this, and then we will come over with some different, with the brown, and then we'll add the flock, and then come back over with some yellow to create that sun effect, that shining effect. So we're just gonna, you know, just come around and hit these with some black. Oh, that got a lot. Other thing you can do is just hold it. You don't have to do the black, you know. I've done some that I've actually just done brown. But the one thing that this will create is, you know, if you see any, some black might still shine through on some parts, it just looks like it's a shadow, you know, which would be pretty natural. So you can do the underside, focus on that. All right, so we'll hit all these, and then let it dry, and then we'll hit with brown. All right, and so once it's dry, I'm just gonna come over with the camo brown, making sure to get the trunk. All right, so once we're ready, we've got our trees have dried up, so we've got the black and brown on them, and then what we're gonna do now is add the some flock to it. I'm gonna use ground foam actually. I've got the fine turf here. We're gonna try that. You can use really anything, you know, that you want. I've also got this dark green. This is the conifer green, so we might add a little bit of this on here too. But what I use, I just have these. You know, these are just like half boxes from like gift boxes, and I use them to just collect the flock as it drops down. So I've actually got some of the conifer here already, and that way you can collect it and reuse it, you know, if you don't want to waste it. And I try to use a separate box for each type that I'm using so I can keep it separated. But what we're going to do is I've got a can of Gorilla spray adhesive, and basically I've got this set up. I'm going to hit the tree with this. We're going to use some of the fine foam. Actually, we'll probably start with the dark conifer first. Spray it again, add some more, spray it again, add some more. And then we're going to come over at the end with some of the scale leaves. These are the medium green leaves from SuperTrees. And then we're going to hang them again and let them dry. And then we're going to do some of that other spray paint work out in the garage. So we hit this with some of this glue. And that spray, you just kind of spray it into a box. Try to do it outside, but for this video, we're doing it in the basement. So just grabbing some of this stuff and you just drop it on, really. Whenever spraying the adhesive on, you try to stay away from the trunk for obvious reasons. Give it a little shake, a little tap, knock any loose pieces off. So you can see how that's starting to come on there. We got some rogue pieces. That's okay. Spray it again. Once you start to add the, you know, the ground cover, it's gonna create more surface area for the glue. And then when you add some of the smaller, finer pieces, they've got some more area to grab onto. So there, see how we've added some depth to the color by the finer foam on top of the coarse. And now we're gonna add the leaves. Just really lightly. There we go. Don't mind the dog barking upstairs. So we'll hang this, do this to the rest of the trees, and then they'll be ready for some more spray. All right, so I've got some of the trees that I had to hit with the green up here. What we're gonna do now is hit them really lightly, really far off with this yellow, just to try to get like a sun reflection effect. I'm not sure how this is gonna turn out, but we're gonna do our best here and see if we can make this look nice. If it doesn't, we just add some more foam or paint back green. It's not gonna be a huge deal. So I'm standing about 2.5 feet above these trees and just hitting it straight down on top with the yellow. So that's all we're gonna do. And it does add a nice little effect, I will say. It looks good from here. So again, we'll let them dry. I haven't done it to all of the trees. I've got obviously these ones down here are not staged up in the cardboard. I'll hit those. And then they will, a couple of these still need some brown on the stems. So I'll have to do some, I'll probably just add some acrylic paint, dip it in or wipe it on really quickly. And then we're ready to put these on the boat. I've got the trees back out here in the garage, and some of them have some white on it from the glue that kind of is shining through. So there's a couple of different ways that we could go about fixing this. We could add some like you know, like scenic glue, and then put more ground foam over top, and it would probably cover that up. What we're gonna try to do here is a different technique where I've got a leafy green spray, and we're just gonna hit it lightly to just trying just to get the leaves and not the stem or anything like that. And then we're gonna let that dry. And this is when the depth of the corrugated cardboard comes in handy, because you can make sure that you don't ever get the base of that stem different color than the brown that you want it. So we'll let these dry, see how it comes out and looks, and we might still add some more foam over top if we have to. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit just the tops with a sun yellow, just really quick and lightly, just to see if we can get sort of like a shine effect. Now if the trees look really nice, and there's no glue showing through, I'm not even gonna touch it with any of the green spray paint. I'm just gonna let it sit off on the side for now, because you know, I wanna make sure that they're not obviously all gonna look exactly the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, let them dry, and then we'll hit it with yellow. Now is hit them really lightly, really far off with this yellow, just to try to get like a sun reflection effect. I'm not sure how this is gonna turn out, but we're gonna do our best here and see if we can make this look nice. If it doesn't, we just add some more foam or paint it back green. It's not gonna be a huge deal. So I'm standing about 2.5 feet above these trees and just hitting it straight down on top with the yellow. So that's all we're gonna do. And it does add a nice little effect, I will say. It looks good from here. So, all right, so we've got the trees on there. I still have a few that I haven't put on. They're still in the box. I'm gonna wait until I get this down on the layout, and then, you know, I need to make sure that I've got some trees off the hill as well. And so I want to make sure that I'm using the same trees from the same batch, because perhaps I'll change something next time if I use different ground foam or just a minor different technique. I don't want the trees to look completely different if they're right next to one another. Obviously, you want some diversity, but so I've got about 5 trees left that once I get this on layout, they'll go around close to the barn and the farm scene that this will be backing. But I think it came together really, really well for the first time actually doing this. So we gotta get some, I think we get some figures, some animals in there as well.